a.m. and I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the Technology Committee for Tuesday, April 18. Can I get the roll call, please?
Berlin.
Here.
Cahill. Carrier.
Here.
Eckhoff.
Here.
Velocity. Here. Veston.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Kazmarek.
Here.
Mendrick. Rutledge. White.
Here.
You.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, so I do not have any chairwoman's remarks today. We're going to keep this meeting pretty short. Do we have any public comment? No. And I am now going to ask for a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, April 4.
Moved.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Thank you. Any discussion or changes to the minutes? And hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. And let's move on to procurement requisitions. Hello, Dr. Rutledge. So for 23-1575, I'd like a motion on recommendation for the approval of contract purchase order to Environmental Systems Research Institute, or ESRI, for the procurement of 4 core ArcGIS server software licenses for information technology for the period of April 20, 2023 through April 19, 24 for a contract total amount of $18,136.
So moved. Second.
Motion by member Gustin and second by member Glassy. Any discussion with regard to this item?
Madam Chair, if you mind. So I just want to share with you guys, this one is a request to add on an additional server to create a portal, GIS map portal for internal use only. In the past, when anyone wanted to access any of our maps or any of the GIS data, we had to create an account and they had to log on to it. Very tedious process, causes a lot of administrative work for my team. Now with the implementation of this portal, anyone who's connected to our network can go in and do searches on the GIS data and the maps. So.
Thanks for that explanation. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. That passes. For line item 23-1576, I'd like a motion for recommendation for the approval of contract purchase order to Shy International Corp for the procurement of web-based iBoss network security and support for remote workers for IT. This contract covers the period of June 17, 2023 through June 16, 2026 for a total contract total amount of $19,926.42.
So moved. Second.
Motion by member Gustin, second by member Rutledge. And question?
I have a question. How many remote workers do we still have?
That's my question too.
That's a great question. I would have to get back to you. I'm not 100% sure. There are a few. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm all in favor of remote workers, so that's why I'm asking the question. I'd like to see us, if they don't have to be here in the building and they can still get their work done. Lots of studies coming out about 4-day work weeks and those kind of things. So I personally would like to make sure that we don't lose the ones we have and potentially add to them if we can.
Yeah, I'll research it and get back to you. Well, I don't know the exact number, but there are still a few folks who are still working remote. And from a technology perspective, we encourage it too. You can get a lot done remotely instead of being here physically on the site. So yeah, and the technology
there's a lot of reasons to support it, in my opinion.
Thank you. I'm just curious, is there like how is it determined if someone is able or allowed to work remotely?
That is the policy of the department head.
Okay.
So it starts with the chief administrative officer and whoever the department head or elected official can make that call.
Okay, thank you.
Carrier, did you also?
During, thank you, Madam Chair. During the pandemic, we made a county-wide policy on remote work, which Anthony is adhering to.
Okay.
Recorder Carrier, also have a question?
Yes, I'm just wondering, this company is out of Minnesota. Are there no Illinois companies that we could be entertaining?
No, not for this particular application. So, the technology companies, this is a cybersecurity or IT security company, they can be global. So their headquarters doesn't really make a difference because they do work throughout. But this application we started when the pandemic first started. We tested them out. They're doing absolutely great. We've expanded their protection under our devices. So, we think they're one of the industry leaders. So that's why we selected them. We're going with them.
Yes,
from a management perspective, I'm wondering, how you account for actual work getting done when they're working remotely. Some agencies have it where when you sign in and you're in for those 6 hours or 8 hours, they can identify key movement. Or do you guys have that, because obviously you're paying the employee to work. So then
We
how
don't
for
control.
management or
That's
accountability
true.
is there?
So we don't control that.
Policy.
We have the ability to do quite a bit, but we don't do that. We would have to defer to HR and really the HR policies for those types of things. If they want us to track them, we have the capability of tracking some of that.
Yeah, because it's been management
I can speak to that
issues sometimes.
for my office, because as an independent elected, HR doesn't monitor my staff. We have a very small staff, but when people work remotely, they keep track of, my chief deputy keeps track of what work they complete. We just see.
So it's a project-based work
Yeah.
environment versus an hourly.
So our
Okay.
processing claims will know how many they did, or if they're working on a report, how many pages they wrote towards the report. This is qualitative. And I'm comfortable that my chief deputy keeps really close tabs as to how much work is getting done when people are.
Yeah, we
These
do,
are very small, and so it's
You can
it's easy to tell.
do that.
we do the same
How
in
far do you
IT,
run the
but
report?
it's an HR policy. It's, we have the ability to track it, but HR has to tell us if we need to track that or not.
I would think you'd want to track it, just my own personal thing, but we had for the whole pandemic, our office was open the whole time. Everybody worked in the office because of the nature of our work. And it worked out fine. I find sometimes hard when I'm trying to deal with somebody who's working outside the office. Sometimes it's nice to see people eye to eye. And the other thing is, I think the rules say you take a county phone, you're supposed to answer that phone.
That's true.
Too often the phone never gets answered. They wait till you leave a message and decide whether or not they want to call you back. So there's some things I think really have to be dealt with still with working from home.
And to your point, I know my husband works in the federal, he's a federal attorney. They're now transitioning back into the office. And it may be similar to, I know it's similar to what you were saying.
We couldn't have anybody off, and that was fine. And we did fine. We didn't have any epidemics of COVID in the office at all. We were careful and knew what we were doing, but so it is hard when our people have to do that and then they can't reach somebody that they need to work with because they don't answer their phones, they don't return calls.
Our official policies in the office, but just earlier this year, there was a really bad weather day. We planned ahead and let everybody work from home on the bad weather day, and they got their work done.
To the treasurer's point, I think you have to practically manage those people. That's the only way it works well. You need to know what they're doing, when they're doing, how
Yeah,
long
we
they're
can't
doing.
manage those other people that we need help from because they're being managed by somebody else. And we're not always sure they're being managed.
Everyone for the questions and feedback. Any other discussion with regard to this item? We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. This passes. So we're gonna move on to old business. Any old business before? Yes, go ahead.
I just have a question. We spoke a few meetings back about somebody from your department going and working with, I think it was Bloomingdale Township to get their GIS
Yep.
up. And has that happened? Is it?
Yeah, so they're actively working with that township right now. So, yeah, they're working with Tom Ricker and the GIS team. So what you're referring to, so for the rest of the group, our GIS department, because it's a large department, has a lot of resources, a lot of tools. There are smaller municipalities that don't have GIS teams or GIS capabilities, so they farm work out to us. So what we do is charge them based on our hourly rate of the individual who's assigned to work with them, and we support them and use our tools to help out. So, but it's an active thing.
Yes, member Gillespie.
Just on the thank you, on the topic of GIS, I just wanted to say that I had the tour last week of their department. I know you did as well, and I was super impressed. They did a great job with their presentation, and I just had no idea some of their capabilities. So I just wanted to thank you and pass that along to them.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're proud of the work that they do. They do a lot with what they have. They take full advantage of the tools that we have. Sometimes too much, I have to tell them stop. It's too much work. But they take full advantage. There are a lot of IT organizations who have great tools, but they don't take full advantage. They take full advantage of it. And beyond GIS, last year they started to do data analysis and working with the individual departments or elected officials to look at their data and figure out how they can use that data to better manage their process.
And they did a great job of giving us examples of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was really a really interesting 30-minute presentation. So thank you. Or pass that along.
I will. Thank you.
Great. So during old business, we also wanted to highlight two new websites that the IT team have been working on. Our GIS obviously is really wonderful, but we also have people working on these websites. There's a new lost pets database.
There is. So when I presented our last tech committee meeting, gave you an update on some of the projects the team was working on. I had mentioned that Animal Services had a new adoption page that we had created, but at the time we weren't ready to release it. It's now been released, so I thought I would come back and share it with you. And then also our GIS team, as I said, working on a lot of stuff. They have been working with the coroner's office on a new dashboard for the coroner's office. So I'm going to share both of those with you. So this is the old website, the old adoption page, and this is essentially how it looked. It was created using a web technology called iframe, which isn't used a lot. It allows you to put things in a box and you can manipulate them from that box, but it's older, right? So as you can see, it's really hard to see the photos and the text on this web page. And it was the same on our old web page. We really just ported the information over to our new website. Since we've launched, the team has now created a new website. So now you can see the pets directly. If you actually start at the very beginning, right away, if you know you want to adopt, you can click on the dog adoption application right away. It's at the beginning of the page. And you can start your application. You can also look at fees if you're not sure how much it's going to cost you. You can take a look quickly at the matrix that has the fees. Then you can drill down on the photos. But you can, if there's a certain breed that you don't want, you can search for different breeds if you like. If there's a certain age that you want to click on, I guess these are all mixed breeds and adults. If there's a gender that you want, male or female, it's only one male, it's sad. But, but you can drill down now and it's more interactive than it was before. The information is very clear. If you actually click on Danica, if there's a pet that you really like, she's a cute dog, there's a lot more information, right? So about the dog, the check marks are things that you should be fully aware of, the things that stand out. In this particular case, the dog has been spayed. And then there's now a nice little note about the dog underneath that the potential adoptees can read through. So this is the case for not only dogs, but also cats. Up here. So if you want to adopt a cat, same thing. You can drill down on.
Okay, I'll take all of that.
And if cats and dogs aren't your things, here are roosters, chickens, guinea pigs, and rabbits.
Lots of
So,
rabbits.
Lots of rabbits too.
Yes.
sure.
Can you go back to the dog page?
Yeah.
Because I just love animals. I follow their page and I happened to be on their page yesterday or the day before, and it said on their Facebook page that they were caring for like 32 dogs. And then I went to the dog page and I only found 5, and I couldn't get to a way to get to more
The
dogs.
others.
So I was just wondering if there was a glitch in the website or if,
Change.
So
it.
maybe
Maybe-
temporarily turned in and
Or
not
for
subject to
adoption.
adoption.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they might not be ready for
Go
adoption.
through the doctor review and
Yeah.
vet review.
Yeah, maybe these are the only ones who are available for adoption,
Well,
even
those
though
might
they
be the
have.
ones at the shelter where all the others are in foster.
foster are listed as well. I did check that.
Okay.
I just was surprised. It seems like a lot of dogs that are in the shelter but not available. Maybe
It's a good question. I'm not sure, but we can check with them to
Okay,
see,
I just,
to make sure it's not a glitch.
no, yeah, yeah.
But
Well, I
we
just
can
thought it
double
might
check.
be a glitch in the page that there are more dogs available that aren't showing up.
Yeah,
That's
we
all.
only post the information they give us, but we can double check and
Okay.
find out if something's missing and they're just not displaying the rest of those pets, because that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Rutledge.
Thank you. So is there any way on this page for people to post, you know, I know on Facebook they post, this is a found dog, and I'll tell you the reason why I asked, because this is a long way. In 2018, right after my husband died, my deaf and almost blind senior dog got out of the house on a Saturday night. I'd only lived there for 3 weeks. I reached out to West Chicago Police and they're like, oh yeah, we've noted it, but you need to contact the county. Well, they picked my dog up like almost immediately, but I didn't know until late the next day. And so I kind of castigated them at their meetings that I'm like, this was more than just a dog. A lot to do with when my husband collapsed and things like that. And so this is so much further away, but I guess what I'd like to know is a way for if they pick up a stray dog, that it gets posted sooner rather than later, because that's a pretty stressful
Yeah,
situation.
we can always ask that of animal services. They control the content,
Yeah,
what goes up there. So we'll do that. Debbie, are you on? She
but
is.
maybe their officer who picks the dog up.
Okay.
Hi, I'm on. Well,
Yeah.
they do have a lost pets report that you can fill out. It's not on this page, but I think you can get to it from this page. Can you scroll up? Okay, not on this page. So if you go back to animal services, there's a button on the homepage that says report lost pets or something like that. So if
Yeah,
you
the
click,
only way I had found out was I was friends with a volunteer over there and she reached out on a backdoor messaging and they were like, oh yeah, we got
Oh, yeah.
that.
Oh,
Lost and found pets,
found.
right.
That's, yeah,
Right.
yeah, so there's a form you could fill out on there
There
for
is.
lost pets.
okay. Doesn't show any of the dogs, but maybe they.
No.
Well, descriptions are probably.
Well, there's a couple found animals album, and I think those go to Facebook if you click on one of those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys have been great about that, you know, for quite some time now. So I'm just making sure that people lose dogs, they've got a quick way to figure out if you've got them.
Yeah, we can always share that recommendation with them, Debbie.
Okay.
All right, great.
We'll follow up.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And quick question,
Sure.
is in the future, is there any thought about working with other organizations like Gentle Giants or Adopt and maybe putting one of their links on there so that if people don't find what they're looking for on this site, they can go to, you know, Gentle Giants or go to Adopt and look at what else, you know, maybe their animal is there or whatever.
Yeah, it's,
Can we do that once we have a bigger facility? Because
Well, no, they're
It's so
in the
cramped.
facilities already, and Gentle Giants is a fostering organization, so they wouldn't go into our
So
system.
I would suggest that we take these ideas and bring them over to IT separate.
yeah,
Animal
animal services.
services,
Actually,
yeah.
we're IT,
So
we
we
don't.
got
Yeah,
animal
yeah.
services
We're just
online.
posting.
I know. I just wanted to show you guys what IT's been doing, right? And we also wanted to briefly show the coroner's website because I think the dashboard is actually really
Yeah, I'll
interesting.
make this one quick. So we've been working with the coroner's office to develop this dashboard. There are 8 panels that you can select from. And if you look there, here's all the major categories. Non-human, because I know you guys are going to ask that, are basically when they find remains and they're not
Oh.
sure
Okay.
if they are humans or not. So it's
you asked us
non-human,
what
yes,
is real.
yeah. Return,
Kathleen's looking for pictures.
I hope not. I hope not. Return are when basically a person dies in the office of a physician. The physician sends the body to the coroner's office. They do the exam. I can't think of the word.
autopsy. or-
Autopsy, thank you. And then they send it back to that doctor. That doctor signs off on it. So.
Kind of like
return
at the
back
hospital
to-
or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the physician signs off on So these are all the categories, and if you hover over them, I don't know why it's breaking up. I think it's
Yeah.
mine. Let me see if I can clean it up. So it doesn't normally look like that.
Technology.
I think it's my screen, but if normally you can look at it and it shows basically a comparison. 61 is the current year, 275 is last year. I don't know why it's not showing it, but and you can see the previous years prior to that, 2001, 2019, 18, and what they are. But if you really want to know more information about that, about these deaths, you can actually drill down. So that's where the real power is. You can drill down and you can drill down to those individual points. On the map, it'll come up in a second. You can drill down by gender. If you look on the left-hand side, by race, by whether the person died from drugs or alcohol. You can also drill down to the top 10 causes. I'm not sure why it's not displaying all of the information. I think it's my laptop. But yeah, you can drill down further. You can drill down by the different years. These numbers that you see up there, and it's hard to see where my pointer is, that's exactly where the actual death occurred, right? So you can drill down, but we've set it up so that, so you can drill down, but you cannot drill down too far. You cannot get to the exact location out of respect for the deceased privacy, right? So you get close and you can see it's around Naperville or around Wheaton, Illinois, or something like that. But you can drill down. You can even check on the types of deaths. And again, I'm not sure why it's not displaying. Displays very differently on usually a desktop, and I'm not sure why it's displaying like this. But you can drill down very deep. You can drill down by district. So if you want to look at the deaths in your individual districts, you can see what types of deaths. If, for instance, if you wanted to figure out the drug or alcohol related deaths, you can drill down and find out more information. What types of drugs were used when they died, fentanyl, things of that nature. It's usually more information being displayed, but I'm not sure why this window isn't showing all of the information. Go on the coroner's website, or you can find it under our main page for more information. Do us a favor, go in and look at it. If there's any issues or problems, because it was just released, let us know and we can make modifications. I think we're still working with the coroner's office to make small tweaks and changes here and there.
Yeah, the website looks really clean and it's
It
an
does.
improvement. It
Who do
has a
you
lot of
expect to be the
information.
main user of this website?
Yeah.
Well, number one, the coroner's office. So this is really for them. They asked us to create it for them to drill down and use it, but the public can also take
The
advantage of it if they
newspapers.
get interested.
The media. Newspapers get all that information ahead of time. You
They
don't have to
do,
wait
they
for
have the
this.
information. Yeah, but it's really for the coroner's office. They are the ones who asked us to create the dashboard for them to use.
Thank you, Anthony. Any other old business? And any new business? All right, hearing none, without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.